What if I told you that real, lasting transformation in your life doesn't start with sweeping changes or grand gestures, but with small, deliberate actions repeated each day? See, the life we're building, the goals we want to achieve, they're all the result of the little things we do consistently, not the occasional one-time effort. Now, here's the kicker. If you're willing to commit to a handful of small but powerful habits each day, you'll start seeing changes within just 30 days. You'll find yourself more focused, more motivated, more in tune with where you're going and how you'll get there. But it requires consistency, and it requires faith in the process. Just as a tree doesn't grow overnight, you won't see a complete transformation on day one. But start nurturing these habits, and soon enough, you'll start to see results sprouting up in your life. Not just any results, but the kind that lead you to where you truly want to go. Most people go through life a bit adrift. They set a goal, but without a consistent pattern to reinforce that goal every day, the commitment fades, and they wonder why they feel unfulfilled. They have dreams, but no daily practice to bring them to life. What we're talking about here is bringing purpose into each day, creating routines that pull us closer to our goals and keep us on track when distractions or doubts might otherwise pull us off course. It's like the law of sowing and reaping. You don't just plant a seed and walk away expecting it to become a tree. You water it, you protect it, you nurture it. Day by day, you tend to it. And one day, almost like magic, that seed takes root and becomes something mighty. And it's the same with our habits. So as we go through each of these daily habits, I want you to think about them like seeds. I want you to imagine planting each one of them in your day, giving them the attention they need, and watching how they shape your thinking, your attitude, your sense of purpose. The secret lies in the practice, because the small things you do consistently will create the big picture of your life. Okay, the first daily habit I want to talk about is setting aside time each day to reconnect with your goals. Now, I'm not talking about writing down your goals one time and then forgetting about them. I'm talking about keeping them alive and present in your mind each day. This daily practice is about creating a powerful reminder of what you're working toward and why it matters. Imagine each morning starting your day by reviewing where you want to go. Picture the life you want to create. And don't just see it as a vague idea. See it in full detail. What it looks like, what it feels like, and what it will mean for you and the people around you. By connecting with your goals every day, they stop being some abstract dream and start to feel like a reality you're actively building. Now, why does this daily review matter so much? Because our days are filled with distractions. From the minute we wake up, there are responsibilities, conversations, demands on our time. And if we're not careful, we can get swept away in all of it. We go through the motions, and before we know it, we're at the end of the day, realizing we barely thought about what really matters to us. But when you start each day focused on your goals, you're setting an intention. You're saying, this is where I'm going. You're giving yourself direction. And that direction is what keeps you grounded when life throws its curveballs. It's what gives you the strength to say no to distractions, to stay on track when others drift off course. Find a quiet moment each morning. Grab a notebook or just sit quietly and look over your goals. Remind yourself why they're important. If it helps, Write down a single step you can take that day to get closer to them. It doesn't have to be huge. Sometimes it's the smallest steps that keep us moving forward. But make it real. Make it tangible. There's another aspect to this daily habit that people often overlook, connecting not only with the what, but with the why. It's one thing to say, I want to improve my health, or I want to start a business. But the motivation to follow through comes when you know why it matters. Does improving your health mean living longer? To see your kids grow up? Does starting a business mean creating a legacy for your family? Those deeper reasons give meaning to your goals, and meaning is what drives us. Now, a word of caution here. Don't fall into the trap of setting goals you're not passionate about just because they look good on paper or impress others. The goals you reconnect with each day need to resonate with you. They need to feel alive in you. When you have a goal you're truly passionate about, it's like a fire that doesn't go out. Even on tough days, that goal will pull you through because it matters to you on a deep level. What I've noticed in my years of mentoring is this. People who succeed, who accomplish remarkable things, they don't just set goals once and forget about them. They keep those goals close, like a compass that guides their choices and actions each day. And if you commit to this practice, you'll find that it becomes a powerful force in your life, keeping you focused, grounded, and moving forward, even when the journey gets tough. Think of this habit like an anchor. Life is full of waves, of highs and lows, but an anchor keeps you steady. When you know where you're going and you remind yourself daily, you become less vulnerable to those waves. Sure, you'll still face challenges, but you'll face them with a sense of purpose, with a vision that doesn't fade with the day-to-day. Here's another tip. Sometimes it can be helpful to review your goals in the evening too. Before you go to sleep, take a quick moment to think about what you did that day to move closer to them. Did you stay aligned with your purpose? Did you make choices that support your journey? This kind of reflection keeps you accountable. And if you miss the mark on any given day, don't beat yourself up. Just use it as a lesson. Learn from it and adjust. That's how we grow. After just 30 days of reconnecting with your goals each morning, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll be more focused, more motivated, and more resilient. You'll find yourself making decisions that align with where you're going, rather than reacting to what's happening around you. And that, my friends, is how you create momentum. The kind of momentum that makes 30 days just the beginning of an incredible journey. Next, the second daily habit I want you to embrace is the practice of reading. But not just any reading, I'm talking about reading with intention. Every single day, take time to fill your mind with new ideas, new perspectives, and new knowledge. We live in a world that's constantly changing, constantly evolving. And if we're not learning, we're falling behind. When you make a habit of reading every day, you're fueling your mind with what it needs to stay sharp, to grow, and to tackle whatever challenges life throws your way. Now let's get something straight. I'm not saying you need to read for hours on end, diving into book after book. No, the power of this habit isn't in how much you read, but in the consistency of it. You could spend 15 to 30 minutes each day reading something that teaches you, inspires you, or challenges the way you think. The beauty of reading is that it opens up new worlds, new ways of thinking. Every time you read, you're absorbing the lessons, the struggles, the triumphs of others who've walked a different path than yours. You're exposing yourself to ideas that might take you years to discover on your own. And sometimes all it takes is one powerful idea to change the course of your life. Imagine that. A single sentence, a single insight can shift your mindset, open up new doors, or give you the clarity to make a decision you've been avoiding. Why is this so powerful as a daily habit? Because the mind, like the body, needs to be nourished. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay healthy on a diet of junk food, you can't expect your mind to grow strong and resilient on a diet of gossip and distraction. Reading daily is a way of feeding your mind quality fuel. It keeps you sharp, it keeps you curious, and it keeps you learning. And here's something else to consider. When you make reading a daily practice, you start to notice patterns. You start to connect the dots between different subjects, different ideas. You begin to see how one field of knowledge relates to another. And that's where innovation happens. That's where you start to think differently, to bring new ideas into your work, your relationships, your goals. There was a time I was working with a young man who wanted to improve his business skills. He thought he needed to read only business books, sales, marketing, finance. But I encouraged him to widen his scope. I said, read about philosophy, read about psychology, read about history, learn about the human mind, learn about what motivates people. He took my advice, and over time, his entire approach to business shifted. He was no longer just applying technical skills. He was understanding people on a deeper level, and it made him a better leader, a better communicator, a better decision maker. So, what should you read? That's up to you, but I would suggest starting with something that challenges you, something that inspires you. Look for books or articles that feed your mind with positivity and wisdom, that encourage growth rather than mindless consumption. If you're working on your financial goals, read about wealth-building strategies. If you're focused on improving relationships, read about communication, empathy, understanding others. If you're working on self-discipline, find authors who've written about that very topic. I recommend keeping a list of books or authors you'd like to explore. That way, you're never at a loss for what to read next. And as you read, don't just passively absorb the words. Engage with them. Take notes. Highlight passages that stand out. Jot down ideas that resonate with you. When you actively engage with what you're reading, you're more likely to remember it, more likely to apply it. Reading daily doesn't just add to your knowledge. It changes your mindset. It keeps your mind sharp and ready to tackle challenges. And over time, you'll find that this habit of reading begins to shape the way you think, the way you approach problems, and the way you see the world. It gives you a toolkit of ideas, strategies, and solutions that you can draw from whenever you need them. You become more adaptable, more resourceful, and more resilient. Now, one last point about this habit. Be patient. Don't expect immediate, life-changing breakthroughs every time you pick up a book. Some days, you'll read something that strikes you deeply and shifts your perspective. Other days, you might read and feel like nothing clicked. that's okay. Remember, this is about consistency. The impact of reading daily is cumulative. Each day you're adding to your mental reservoir, and one day when you least expect it, you'll find that all those little pieces of knowledge have come together to form something powerful, a new understanding, a new idea, a new vision for your life. By making reading a part of your daily routine, you're committing to lifelong growth. You're saying, I'm willing to keep learning, keep improving, keep expanding my mind. And when you do that, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Okay. The third daily habit is physical movement. Now you might be thinking, of course, everyone knows exercise is important. And it's true. Most of us know that. But the real question is, do we make it a daily priority? Do we embrace it as an essential part of our personal growth, our mental clarity, our resilience? When I say daily movement, I'm not just talking about staying fit or hitting certain physical goals. I'm talking about something much deeper than that. The human body is designed to move, to stretch, to exert energy. Movement isn't just about fitness, it's about health, vitality, and mental well-being. And when we don't move enough, when we stay sedentary, something happens not just to our bodies, but to our minds. We lose energy. We lose focus. We lose the sharpness that comes from using the body the way it was designed to be used. A healthy body and a healthy mind go hand in hand. When you move daily, you're feeding both, fueling your potential in ways you might not even realize at first. Imagine starting each day with some form of movement. It doesn't have to be strenuous. The purpose here is to wake up the body, to wake up the senses, to signal to yourself, I'm ready for this day. And as you make movement a daily habit, you'll start to notice shifts, not only in your physical health, but in your mood, your outlook, your energy levels. See, movement releases endorphins, the body's natural mood lifters. Even a small burst of physical activity can improve your mood, relieve stress, and give you that sense of vitality that propels you forward. So imagine how powerful it can be to start each day this way, fueling your body with energy and your mind with focus. It's like charging up your entire system. Another benefit of daily movement is resilience. When you push your body even a little, when you stretch just beyond your comfort zone, you're training yourself to be stronger, both physically and mentally. I've met countless people who've told me I'm not strong or I'm not resilient. But resilience is something you build. And one of the simplest ways to do that is by challenging yourself physically, by building the discipline to move each day, even when you don't feel like it. You know, I worked with a man once who had no history of working out or exercising. He was immersed in his work, highly driven, but he was missing something: energy. He always felt drained. So I asked him to start a simple daily walking routine, just 15 minutes each morning. At first, he was skeptical. How's this little habit going to make a difference? But he agreed to try it. After a few weeks, he came back to me, and you could see the difference in his face. He felt more alive, more focused, and he said, I can't believe it. I actually look forward to my walk now. It's like I'm giving myself a gift each day. And that's what it is, folks. A gift to yourself, a commitment to your well-being. Now, let's be clear. Movement doesn't mean you have to become a marathon runner or a bodybuilder. It means honoring the body you have, keeping it active and engaged. Some days, it might mean a workout. Other days, it might mean stretching or a walk around the block. What matters is that you're moving daily, that you're creating a habit of physical engagement. When you make this a part of your routine, you're strengthening the connection between body and mind. And as you do, you'll start to find that your mind feels sharper, your focus more sustained, your energy more stable throughout the day. But beyond physical benefits, daily movement builds self-discipline. It's a way of saying, I am committed to taking care of myself. You're building the muscle of commitment, the muscle of self-respect. And that discipline spills over into every other area of life. When you push yourself to move each day, even when it's not convenient, you're training yourself to follow through on commitments, to be consistent, to show up even when it's hard. And that's a powerful mindset to carry into your work, your relationships, your goals. And one of the biggest parts of this is having a clear mind. We've all had days when we feel mentally foggy, unable to focus, struggling to get things done. Often that fog can be lifted simply by getting our bodies moving. When you exercise even lightly, you increase blood flow, which brings more oxygen to the brain. This sharpens your focus, lifts your mood, and gives you a clear mind to face the tasks ahead. Some of the best ideas, the clearest insights, come when we're moving, when the body and mind are fully engaged. Daily movement is an investment, not just in your physical health, but in the quality of your life, in your ability to focus, to create, to achieve. Commit to moving every day. And remember, this isn't just about the short term. Each day you move, you're building a healthier, more resilient version of yourself, one step at a time. Imagine where you'll be 30 days from now if you stick with this habit. You'll feel more alive, more energized, more focused. You'll find yourself handling stress better, feeling more grounded, more capable. And that's the kind of transformation that carries over into every part of your life. A strong body, a clear mind, and a resilient spirit. That's what you're building when you move each day. Next, the fourth daily habit that can transform your life is being grateful. Now, this one is powerful, but often overlooked. When we think of success, we often think about achieving more, doing more, striving for the next big thing. But being grateful is about grounding yourself in the present, appreciating what you have, and shifting your focus from what's missing to what's already there. You see, the human mind is naturally wired to focus on problems, to notice what's lacking, to search for the next goal, the next need to fulfill. And while that drive can help us grow, if it's not balanced with gratitude, it can leave us feeling constantly unfulfilled. We end up in a loop of wanting and striving, never truly satisfied, never pausing to recognize the progress we've made, the blessings we've already received. That's where being grateful comes in. It brings perspective. It grounds us in the reality of our own lives and gives us a sense of wholeness and peace. Being grateful each day is simple. It doesn't require a lot of time or a special technique. All it takes is a few moments of genuine reflection. Each morning, or perhaps in the evening, take a moment to think of 3 things you're truly grateful for. It could be anything: a supportive friend, a meaningful accomplishment, the comfort of your home, or even the opportunity to pursue your goals. The key is to focus on what really matters to you and to feel that gratitude deeply, not just on the surface. This habit may seem small, but the effects are profound. By focusing on what's positive and meaningful in your life, you're training your mind to look for the good. You're rewiring your mental habits, creating a mindset that sees abundance rather than scarcity, that feels fulfillment rather than lack. And over time, this mindset will affect every part of your life, your relationships, your work, your goals. Being grateful has another powerful effect. It shifts your energy. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that when you're caught up in negative thinking, complaining, worrying, criticizing, you feel heavy, drained? But when you focus on what's good, what's working, you feel lighter, energized. Gratitude is like a reset button for your mind and spirit. It can lift you out of a bad mood, help you refocus on what really matters, and give you a sense of peace and contentment, even in the middle of challenges. One thing I often recommend is to keep a gratitude journal. This is a simple but incredibly effective practice. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, it's often the small things that make the biggest impact over time. A good meal, a kind word, a moment of quiet. When you write these things down, you're not only reinforcing your gratitude in the moment, but you're creating a record that you can look back on. And when tough times come, you'll have that journal as a reminder of all the good that exists in your life, of all the blessings you've experienced, even on the harder days. Here's another interesting thing about being grateful. It's contagious. When you're grateful, it affects the people around you. You start to notice the positive qualities in others, to appreciate the kindness, the support, the love they bring into your life. And when you express that gratitude, it deepens your relationships, creates stronger bonds, and fosters a sense of connection and goodwill. People are drawn to those who recognize and appreciate the good. And by being grateful, you naturally become someone who uplifts others. But let me give you a word of caution here. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring life's problems or pretending everything is perfect. It doesn't mean you stop striving for improvement or ignore the areas where you want to grow. Being grateful is about balance. It's about recognizing that while there may be challenges, while there may be things you want to change, there's also good in your life right now. It's about acknowledging the present moment with acceptance and appreciation, even as you work toward a better future. Over time, being grateful daily creates resilience. When you're used to focusing on what's good, setbacks don't hit as hard. Challenges don't seem as daunting because you've trained yourself to see the silver lining, to find the lesson, to look for what's positive, even in difficult situations. Being grateful gives you strength to keep going, to keep pushing forward, because you're grounded in an awareness of the blessings you already have. You're not coming from a place of lack. You're coming from a place of abundance. Imagine how different your life could feel after just 30 days of being grateful. You'd find yourself more positive, more resilient, and more content. You'd start to see opportunities instead of obstacles, to feel richer and more fulfilled even before you reach your biggest goals. And that feeling, that sense of being grounded, of feeling whole, will fuel everything else you do. It will give you a kind of quiet confidence, a calm assurance that you have what you need, that you're exactly where you need to be, even as you work toward what's next. So as you begin each day or as you wind down each night, take those few moments to be grateful. Reflect on the good in your life, on the people, the experiences, the opportunities that mean the most to you. Let it be a reminder that your life is already rich, already filled with moments of beauty and meaning. And from that place of gratitude, watch how your perspective changes, how your sense of purpose deepens, and how your life begins to transform from the inside out. Next, the fifth daily habit that can bring profound transformation is the practice of reflection. This habit is simple but incredibly powerful. Each day, take a few minutes to look back over what you've done, what you've learned, and how you've grown. Reflection is about self-awareness, about checking in with yourself to understand your progress, your setbacks, and the lessons that come with them. You see, life has a way of moving quickly. We get wrapped up in our routines, in the demands of the day, and without some form of daily reflection, it's all too easy to lose track of where we're going. Reflection is like a compass. It keeps you aligned with your goals. It keeps you aware of your values. And it helps you make adjustments when you start to drift off course. Think of it as taking stock at the end of each day, an opportunity to pause, to assess, and to grow. The beauty of daily reflection is that it doesn't have to take long. Just 5 or 10 minutes is often enough to gain powerful insights. Start by asking yourself a few key questions. What went well today? What didn't go as planned? What did I learn? And perhaps most importantly, what can I do differently tomorrow? These questions may sound simple, but when you engage with them consistently, they reveal a lot. They bring awareness to patterns in your behavior, in your mindset, in your approach. They show you where you're improving, and they reveal areas where you still need to grow. Now, let me be clear. Reflection isn't about judgment or self-criticism. It's not about focusing on what you did wrong or feeling bad about missed opportunities. No, reflection is about awareness and learning. It's about seeing each day as a stepping stone, a chance to improve and refine. By reflecting each day, you're constantly adjusting, constantly improving, and you're doing it in a way that feels natural and sustainable. One thing I often recommend is keeping a journal specifically for your reflections. Each evening, write down the highlights of the day, the lessons you've learned, and any adjustments you want to make. This doesn't need to be a detailed account, just a few sentences capturing what stands out. Over time, you'll be amazed at the insights that come from this practice. You'll start to see patterns in your behavior, in your thinking, in your decisions. And as those patterns become clear, you'll find it easier to make the changes you want to make. These insights are like a mirror, showing you both your strengths and your challenges, giving you a clearer sense of who you are and where you want to go. Reflection also helps to build resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and when we don't take the time to process what we're going through, those experiences can pile up, leading to stress and burnout. Reflection gives you a space to process your day, to release what no longer serves you, and to carry forward the lessons that will help you grow. It's a habit of letting go, of setting down the burdens of the day and carrying forward only the wisdom. Another benefit of daily reflection is that it keeps you accountable. When you take a moment each day to consider whether you lived up to your own standards, whether you stayed aligned with your values, it creates a natural sense of accountability. You're not just moving through life on autopilot, you're actively engaging with your choices, your actions, your direction. And over time, this habit of accountability makes you stronger, more self-aware, more in tune with who you are and where you're going. I once knew a man who felt stuck, as if he wasn't making any progress toward his goals. He was busy, productive even, but somehow he always felt he was just spinning his wheels. So I suggested he start a daily reflection practice. Each night he'd take just a few minutes to review his day. He'd write down what he'd accomplished, what he'd learned, and where he could improve. After a month of this practice, he came back to me and said, "I can't believe the difference. I see patterns now that I was completely blind to before. I see the habits that were holding me back, the little things I was doing without even realizing it." By reflecting daily, he had become aware of what needed to change. And with that awareness, he found the power to make those changes. In just 30 days, he was more focused, more productive, and most importantly, more at peace with himself. Reflection can give you that same clarity. When you pause each day to consider your actions, your thoughts, your choices, you're building self-awareness. You're giving yourself the chance to grow a little each day. And as you commit to this habit, you'll find that your life starts to align more closely with your values, your goals, your dreams. So each night before you go to bed, take a moment to reflect. You might do this in writing, or you might prefer to just sit quietly and think about your day. But whatever approach you choose, make it consistent. Make it part of your routine. Reflect on what you did well, on what you learned, and on how you can improve. Let this habit of reflection be a reminder that each day is a chance to grow, a chance to refine, a chance to become a little closer to the person you want to be. Imagine where you'll be 30 days from now if you commit to this habit. You'll have a stronger sense of who you are, a clearer vision of where you're going, and a deeper understanding of what it takes to get there. Reflection turns experience into insight, and insight into growth. It's a habit that builds over time, one that strengthens your character, sharpens your focus, and brings depth to everything you do. And now you've got the framework for transformation. 5 daily habits that, when practiced consistently, can create real change in your life within 30 days. And remember, this isn't about grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs. True transformation comes from steady, deliberate action. It's about committing to small steps each day that, when combined, create lasting impact. Think of these habits as the foundation of a strong life. Now, some days will feel easier than others. There will be days when you feel motivated, energized, and ready to tackle these habits without a second thought. But there will also be days when it feels like a struggle, when distractions creep in, or when the demands of life feel overwhelming. And that's exactly when these habits matter most. Because the value of consistency isn't in how you feel each day, it's in your commitment to show up regardless of the challenges. When you make these habits a part of your daily life, you're setting a standard for yourself. You're saying, I'm committed to my growth, to my vision, to becoming the best version of myself. And over time, that commitment builds confidence. It builds resilience. It creates a sense of momentum that makes each new day a little bit easier, a little bit richer. So as you begin this journey, remember that it's not about perfection. It's about progress. If you miss a day, don't be discouraged. Just get back on track the next day. Focus on building a rhythm, on making these habits so natural that they become a part of who you are, a part of how you move through the world. Imagine where you could be after 30 days, after 60 days, after a year of living this way. Picture how much more focused, more energized, more connected you'll feel. Picture the clarity, the confidence, the strength you'll gain. And as you make these small changes each day, know that you're investing in a future that's filled with purpose, with growth, with fulfillment. Each of these habits is a stepping stone, a piece of the puzzle. Together, they create a foundation that allows you to grow, to thrive, to live a life that's true to your values and your dreams. So start today. Start now. Make the commitment and let these habits carry you forward one day at a time to a life transformed.